First baseball show on a Friday. It is April 25th. Jack and Peter, and here's what we're going to do. We're looking for guys that are trying to make their first All-Star team. Who are the guys that through the first month of the season? That's crazy. We're a
Yeah.
month in. Hold on. That's nuts. But through the first month of the season, which guys have put themselves in a position to make their first All-Star team? So we're going to walk through that. Peter and I each, and we didn't discuss, put together a team of first year All Stars in the National League and the American League. We're going to compare those teams, and we may have an argument. I have no idea if this is going to be an argumentative episode. We also have the weekend preview. Of course, we are brought to you by
BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Remember, folks, use promo code JustBaseball on BetMGM to get that first bet offer. So here's how it works. You download BetMGM, whether it be on iOS or Android, and use promo code JustBaseball. Deposit at least $10. And if your first pick loses, you'll get it all back in bonus bets up to $1,500. But remember, gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply. I agree with you. I don't think this is going to be an argumentative episode. But before we get into it, weren't you kind of surprised how many people have made all-star teams? I'm going through guys and I'm picking some of the best for this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they did make one all-star game. Like Kodai Senga, for example. Hasn't thrown a ton of innings in Major League Baseball.
No, but in
All of
23 he
last year
made it.
he was
Yeah.
hurt, but he was an all-star in 2023. And I kind of
Yeah.
forgot about that. So not only is this exercise fun, highlighting some guys who can make their first all-star game, it'll also be interesting for everybody listening to realize, oh, yeah, that guy who I think should be in their first All Star game has already made one. So it'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Right. Like I was going around for the sake of the exercise. Like Matt Strom was an all-star already.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Chris Bassett was an all-star when he was in Oakland. That's right. So you almost get that reminder of the Fever Dream All-Stars. I think the other one that I didn't really realize was how few all-star teams some guys have made.
Mm,
Austin Riley's only a two-time all-star at this point. Like
yeah.
it feels like he's made five all-star teams. I think Matt Olson is a two-time all-star. Nathan Eovaldi is it's felt like he's been really good for a really long time. I think that guy's only made two all-star teams. It's
Yeah.
just little things like that that jumped out to me through this process that I thought was fascinating.
Yeah. I think that's the fun part of this exercise is that you may think that, oh, you guys are forgetting somebody. Go check baseball reference. I think that person probably made an All Star game. So that'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Okay, let's start with the American League here, and we're going to go kind of position by position. And again, we're looking for guys that are making their first All Star team through the first month of the season, guys that have put themselves in position to do that. In the American League, I feel like there's a slam dunk answer.
Yeah, the slam dunk answer is Cal Raleigh of the Seattle Mariners. You know, it's funny. I forgot totally that he hadn't made an All Star. So when I saw him at the top of the leaderboards, I thought to myself, oh, well, we obviously have to skip past Cal Raleigh because clearly he's made an All Star game, but he hasn't. Even though he finished 12th in American League MVP voting last year and won the Gold Glove and hit 34 home runs, the 28-year-old has yet to make an all-star game, but this season he is the best catcher in baseball. Even though Carson Kelly is hit for the cycle and on a per-game basis, nobody's been better than Carson Kelly. But over 18 games, Cal Raleigh leads all catchers in F4. He's got 8 home runs. He's got a WRC plus at 206, meaning he's 106% better than the league average hitter. I think it definitely has to be Cal Raleigh for American League All-Star. I'm shocked he hasn't made an All-Star team yet.
No, I mean it is pretty stunning, but you also remember like Francisco Lindor. Lindor's another one. I think Lindor's only made what two All Star games in his career, and he hasn't made it in back to back years in 23 or in 24. And he was the NL MVP runner up last year. So All Star games are a little finicky, and Raleigh didn't make it. Okay, well you know what? He's going to make it this year. Of course, he has a share of the major league lead with home runs with nine so far this year. But let's go to first base here. Where do you go?
So this is a tough one. This is a tough one, but I'm going to stick with the best first baseman, arguably in baseball so far, Jonathan Aranda
Mhm.
of the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, you look at the home run leaderboards, and he's not way up there, but he does have 8 doubles. And he's also slugging 646 while hitting 340 with the second best WRC plus in baseball, only trailing Aaron Judge. 1.1 F4. He's doing everything. He's walking nearly as much as he's striking out. I think he's been the best all-around hitter at the position. And considering he's fine defensively, he's not bad. He's not good either. But I think it's Jonathan Aranda, even though you got Torque. We could talk about Soderstrom, even though he's played a lot of DH as well. Fascinating position in the American League for someone to make their first All-Star game.
Yeah, Aranda was my pick as well. I think Torque is right there, and Torkelson, like, I'm not holding my breath for this, but if Torkelson keeps going, at some point you just have to say, all right, Torque is back. Like,
Oh,
number
yeah.
one overall pick, slam dunk, top 10 prospect in baseball as a first baseman. This guy's hitting, this guy's hitting. In terms of sustainability, I don't know. Honestly, I think it's kind of close to a coin flip because I think Torkelson and Aranda are really talented players. We've just seen Torkelson go through more rough stretches in the major leagues than Aranda has. And it's not like I'm trying to forecast who sucks for a month before the All-Star break, but chances are one of them is going to dip a little bit and the other is going to keep on climbing. I would play like if I were a betting man on this thing, I would say, hey, Aranda finishes with the better numbers by the All Star break than Torkelson, but it's kind of a coin flip to me.
Yeah, Torkelson's going to beat him in home runs,
Yeah,
but I have more faith in Aranda continuing at this pace. Probably not a 217 WRC plus pace, but at least pacing at the same rate, if not higher, than Spencer Torkelson. And it
yeah,
really comes down to Torkelson still swings and misses a lot, right? He's got a strikeout rate near 30%. Now he's able to offset it with plenty of power, and he's walking at a 13.5% rate. Still a great hitter, but Aranda's striking out at 16%.
yeah,
And right, he's not hitting as many home runs, but he still has as many extra base hits, and he's slugging 646 compared to Torque at 571.
yeah.
So the total slug is there. Torque is going to have more home runs. That's probably it. So I would give it to Aranda.
I don't want that to come off as negativity towards the Tigers because a lot of people are kind of like upset with the negativity. It's like, oh, Jack doesn't believe in the Tigers yet. I do believe in the Tigers. I'm drunk on the Casey Mize Kool-Aid, and I think Tarek Skubal is one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. Flaherty is balling. More on Jack Flaherty a little bit later on in the program. But, I mean, Torque, it would be really cool if Torque got right. Colt Keith, he needs to step up a little bit, but McKinstry has been balling. The Tigers, I don't know if I'm 100% sold on them being the runaway favorites in the American League Central at this point, but I can close my eyes and absolutely see a world where they win that division, which I couldn't do 2.5 weeks ago.
Because we've talked about this like 100 times at this point. Like Spencer Torkelson was not in our equation of being like a big
Yeah,
time
and
player on
and
offense.
now because of a month, he has thrusted himself into the equation.
Absolutely, and deservedly so. You know, the Tigers are definitely a good team and they will have representatives, but at this position, I can't move off of Aranda as the second best hitter overall in baseball right now.
I get
Right?
it.
It's not even if you were making an all-star team, even guys who have made it, Aranda would be leading in the American League at the
Yeah,
position anyway. So it has
yeah.
to be Aranda.
So the criteria that we have is we're talking about guys that have yet to make an all-star team, that have put
Hmm.
themselves in position to do so. Under that criteria, second base is absolutely loaded in the National League.
Hmm.
There's really not much going on in the American League. But
Yeah.
I think there is an easy answer.
My answer was Christian Campbell.
Me too. I think that's the easy answer.
Like it is, and it's so funny because Jordan Westberg is off to a great start, but
Made an all-star
Jordan
team last
Westberg
year.
exactly has been an all-star. That was another guy where I was like, oh yeah, Jordan Westberg was an all-star already. Good for you, Jordan Westberg. Um, so yeah, it has to be Christian Campbell. Now he's been a little bit slower lately after just being the best player in baseball through the first like week and a half or so, but he's so freakish at the plate. His hands are so fast. I actually compared him to Bo Bichette in the way that they both hit.
Mm.
Right, it's a type of swing that you wouldn't teach anybody, but the only people who can do it are just freaks of nature with the quickest wrists in the world. Like
Yeah.
those type of guys can do it, and that's what Christian Campbell is doing. The one thing I've been a little bit surprised about is that he's not grading out well defensively, which I'm a little bit surprised about. But
You shouldn't be surprised because he's kind of bouncing around. Like this is a guy that doesn't really have a home defensively.
that was my next point.
Yeah, there you
Exactly.
go.
Like he's not grading out defensively because he's learning four different positions, and the Red Sox are using him at so many different spots. But second base is technically, I guess, his primary position.
Yeah.
And I think that once we get to the All-Star break, who knows if he actually is the All-Star? I think he could be. But if we're looking at first timers, I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think it pretty much is the easy answer. But again, I thought it would be Jordan Westburg, but he's made an All-Star game.
There you go. Third base. Where do you go here? Pickens were a little slim. What I noticed about third base so far this year is that everybody that's supposed to be good at third base has been good at third base.
Yeah.
Like all the names that you would expect to be near the top are playing well, including a guy like Nolan Arenado. Like
Yeah.
Arenado's playing well, but of course we're talking about the American League right now.
Yeah, so to your point, right? Like Matt Chapman, Alex Bregman, Austin Riley, Nolan Arenado, Manny Machado, Isak Paredes are your war leaders, right?
They're
And then
all all-stars.
all All-Stars, and then Jose Ramirez is right there. So at number 8, Michael Garcia of the Kansas City Royals. He should be the answer. I mean, he's gotten off to a great start, and that batted ball quality is finally starting to play, right? He's a guy who's hit the ball hard and just hasn't gotten a lot of good luck. And this year it's starting to fall. And I'm so happy to see it because I've been calling for a breakout on this guy for like 3 years now. He's got a 142 WRC plus, and we did one surprising player, in the American League and the National League on yesterday's episode. And Royals fans were actually saying Bubic was a good answer in our Discord, at least. But I'm more surprised that Michael Garcia has been as good as he is. And the reason I didn't say it is because I've been expecting him to be good for a while now, and he hasn't shown up until now. So if it's all coming together right now, we know he's good on the base pass. We know he's good defensively. He's hitting the ball hard. I think Michael Garcia makes his first All-Star game, or at least for this exercise.
You're never wrong. You're just early. You and
Exactly.
foolish baseball were the Michael Garcia leaders, huh?
I mean, I think he's been more outspoken about it. I've definitely brought it up too, so I'll give him credit for that. He's more on top of the Michael Garcia. He's president of that fan club. I would
Yeah.
consider myself more of a VP, maybe a secretary of state of the Michael Garcia fan club, but yeah,
Got
we're
it.
both definitely in there.
Got it. Okay. I went different route because I am a hater.
Okay.
Junior Caminero has gotten off to a good start so
Yeah, he
far this
has.
year.
Yeah.
Is he walking? No, he never walks. But
Yeah.
uh, Junior Caminero has 5 homers to this point. He's slugging 460, and he's got a 760 OPS. I expect that number to climb, and he has been a well above average player so far in Major League Baseball. So I go with Caminero just because the pickings were a little slim, and I turned it into a toss-up between Michael Garcia and Junior Caminero, and I sided with the guy that was the top prospect in baseball.
I respect the Caminero shout. I guess the reason that you'd go with Michael Garcia is that Michael Garcia has been a better player so far this season. The reason to go with Junior Caminero is you believe Caminero will be the better player by the All-Star break. So
Yeah.
I could hear both arguments. The reason why I think that Garcia is at least going to last, again, I go back to the strikeout rate. 13% versus 23% for Junior
Hmm.
Caminero versus Michael Garcia. Not a lot of swing and miss in the game. If he keeps putting bat to ball, good things are going to happen. And Caminero, he's just so young and he doesn't have that much experience. So could one of the next few months be a little bit of a down month for him? I don't know. I think that's up in the air. Where I feel like Michael Garcia is finally hitting his stride and will ride that into potentially being an all-star. But again, I'm not going to argue with you on Junior. He's
For those
freaky.
keeping track, yeah, for those keeping track at home, Junior Caminero has a 121 WRC plus.
It's early.
Uh, who has a 56 WRC plus?
I don't think that matters. I
Will
think it's
Wagner of
early.
your Toronto Blue Jays. Score one for Jack.
Below 60 WRC plus is not good for my narratives.
It's not great at
Not
all for your
great.
narrative.
We're not starting off hot.
Shortstop, where you go?
Shortstop, I think there's a couple different ones that you could go with. But he finally walked last night, so I'm taking Jacob Wilson.
Yeah.
He got his walk rate up to 1.1%, but again, the strikeout rate is just 4.4%. But he's still able to rock a WRC plus of 141. He hits everything. He hits everything, and I feel like he's going to be a guy who, you know, is a fan favorite by a lot because he's going to test a lot of people in like in our shoes in media of like, how do we evaluate a hitter like this?
Yeah.
Because, Luis Arias, there's one side who thinks he's Tony Gwynn, and then there's another side who barely thinks he's an everyday player, right? When
Yeah.
you look at WAR and then you look at batting average, so there's two ways to look at this kind of thing. But I feel like Jacob Wilson, because he's pretty good defensively at shortstop, he's going to kind of test those boundaries of how the media evaluates a player. But I'm going to go with Jacob Wilson, I guess, is my answer. He's off to a good start, and I think he parlays this into a potential all-star appearance because he's just going to keep hitting. He hits everything.
Might be the old head in me, but I love Jacob Wilson. And
Yeah,
like, I love watching him play,
me
but
too.
I also just like, I'd want that guy as my shortstop, I
Yeah.
think. And I'm okay if he doesn't walk because he's striking out never and he's hitting 300 and he's playing good shortstop defense. So, like, I'm in on the Jacob Wilson thing. I'm with you. I also had Jacob Wilson, but I didn't want us to move off of the shortstop position without shouting out Jeremy Pena of the
Yes.
Houston Astros.
Yep.
Pena is putting together the most sound year that he has had thus far. And I know we're only a month in, but he's striking out 15% of the time. That's the lowest clip of his career. He's walking 8.5% of the time, which is the highest clip of his career. He's still playing amazing defense. He's slugging a bit. He's got 3 homers and he's slugging just under 400 on the year. Like, I think we're starting to put respect on Pena's name, not as a frustrating young shortstop that shows flashes of brilliance and is fine as the backfill to Carlos Correa. I think we're looking at him as one of the building blocks of the next wave of Houston Astros. I think it should be Jordan, it should be Cam Smith, and it should be Jeremy Pena and Yiner Diaz, of course.
He's 27 years old. This could be the best season of his career. I mean, he's not like he's had an amazing career so far, but a career year from a guy with who's that talented at defense.
And he hasn't been bad. He's been a good
No,
player in his major league career, but this could be a great year for Pena.
yeah,
Like,
right.
he was a, what, age 24 season, 3.5 win player, and then 2.8 WAR the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's
Good
not,
player.
you're not turning on the TV to watch Jeremy Pena, but come voting time, those numbers could just be like, hey, he's earned it, right? We'll
Yeah.
we'll see if he actually makes the All-Star game, but with a guy like Jacob Wilson, I just don't know if he's going to slump, and I think both of us understand that, by the WAR totals, Pena's had the better year. But I think both of us like turning on the TV to watch Jacob Wilson a little bit more.
Absolutely.
So I think he got the
And
edge for both of us.
and by the way, that's how you make all-star teams.
Exactly. Like we're just having fun here.
Yeah. Outfield, where do you go?
So another good one. And thankfully we don't have to decide between like left field, right field, and center field. We could just choose three outfielders.
Yeah.
Wyatt Langford has to be near the top of your outfielders list.
Hmm.
I think he was hurt a little bit to start the year. He hasn't played as many games, as everybody else has, but in those games, he's showcasing the speed. He's got nearly 5 stolen bases, hit another big time home run last night, just keeps hitting home runs. He's got WRC plus above 200, flashing good defense. Like you could see he's the archetype that we talked about in the offseason of what could potentially be an MVP candidate because he does everything well and he hits the living shit out of the baseball. That's what Wyatt Langford does. And he's showcasing it early. Not as many games, of course, as some of the other guys. So the counting numbers might not be as high, but they're still pretty close, even though he's played less games. So Wyatt Langford was at the top for me. And as we continue to go down, like Wilyer Abreu has to be next on that list of the
Hmm.
Boston Red Sox. 4 home runs, 4 steals, slowed down a little bit from being the best hitter we've ever seen through the first week and a half. But he hasn't slowed down that much. He's got a 156 WRC plus. He is ninth among all outfielders in FWAR. And that goes Judge, Tatis, Corbin Carroll, Pete Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, Cedric Mullins, Jung Hoo Lee, Stephen Kwan, and Willie Abreu. So if we're looking at the best outfielders in the American League by WAR, Wilyer Abreu, in terms of guys who haven't made an All-Star game yet, would be number one. So he's got to be number two, or maybe even number one, however you want to rank him.
Yeah.
And then number three, I'm going with the guy we just interviewed, Cam Meisner. I'm saying he could potentially make his first All-Star game. Again, I just think the swing is phenomenal. And another big-time hit last night in extra innings against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Big-time double left on left, right? With Meisner, he sits a lot against left-handed pitching as the lefty, but he just destroys righties. But they put him in there against Eduardo Rodriguez, and he got that left-on-left double. So if he keeps getting more opportunities and just you could throw out everything I said and I'll tell you he's hitting 380.
Yep.
Like he's hitting 380 while playing good defense and he's got speed. He's
Yep.
going to be my third guy.
I like it. I was kind of torn between Meisner, Mangum, his teammate in
Yeah.
Tampa, Jake Mangum, and Lawrence Butler. And I
Yeah.
ended up siding with Lawrence Butler just off of the extension, off of how good the A's offense has been so far this year. And like we've talked about him being a future star in Major League Baseball. Arm wrote about the swing change last year that kind of gave Butler a breakout after the All-Star break. And he's clearly validating that this year. Like he's proving that Lawrence Butler is here to stay. So I don't know if it's a flash in the pan with Meisner and Mangum. I think I know it isn't a flash in the pan with Lawrence Butler.
Yeah.
So for the sake of consistency and knowing that this guy is truly leveling up and becoming a very good Major League Baseball player, I'm with you on Wilyer Abreu. I'm with you on Wyatt Langford. My third was Lawrence Butler, but Meisner and Mangum were not far behind.
Yeah, I think you could make an argument about all of them. I think the Lawrence Butler point is totally fair. I mean, this guy came out and said in the offseason, he was like asked about his number one goal. Like he wants to make this All-Star game. That's like
Yeah.
something that I think he put on his iPhone wallpaper. I was listening to an interview where he's like All-Star game, All-Star game. So he's gunning for it and he's playing really, really well.
Yeah.
Right. So I could totally see that. But Miser, I'm just so impressed. And he's got a 218 WRC plus two. Like even
Yeah.
if he slows down a little bit, what is he slowing down to by the All-Star break? Right. So Lawrence
One.
Butler has to
Yeah.
go up, Meisner has to come down, which is very possible. And I think almost likely. But if Butler stays the same and Meisner comes down a little bit, I still think it might be Meisner.
Right. We could be looking at the numbers by the All Star break, just with the start that Meisner has had, and we're saying like, whoa, like Meisner's numbers are better, even though Butler might have been like a little bit better over the 2 months leading into that All Star break. I hear you on that. DH, easy answer in the American League.
Ben Rice?
Ben Rice.
Ben freaking Rice. He has been so good. I mean, to watch this guy, I even tweeted out, and the tweet was going around Yankee Twitter because I think all Yankee fans agreed he's everything I hoped Greg Bird would be.
Hmm.
Because Greg Bird, when he was coming up, I thought he was going to be the first baseman of the future. That sweet left-handed swing with plenty of power was built perfectly for the short porch. And then he flamed out. And then this guy comes up, former catcher, so not really similar to Greg Bird, but it's again that sweet left-handed swing with plenty of power, pulverizes fastballs. He might be the best fastball hitter in Major League Baseball right now. Well, maybe his teammate Aaron Judge would have something
Yeah.
to say about that, but he's right up there. He still has a problem with breaking balls, and he's definitely going to get spun more. So it'll be interesting to see how he adjusts as we continue to go through this season. But every single fastball you throw, like you can't just throw breaking balls and off-speed pitches every single pitch to Ben Rice. You're going to
Right.
have to throw him a fastball, and every single time you make a slight mistake with that fastball, he's sending it to Mars. I mean, he
Yeah.
crushes everything. One of the highest hard hit rates in the league. And if you look at that ex Woba equation, they're saying he's even getting unlucky by the batted ball quality. So it has to be Ben Rice at the DH position.
He's balling out. I feel bad not having Soderstrom on here anywhere, but I mean, guys are really good at his position right now. So Soderstrom and Rice, I think, can be a little bit of a coin flip, but I side with Rice, man. He's been awesome, awesome.
I just think it's tough. Like Soderstrom has played the majority of his games at first base, so he wouldn't even qualify for the DH spot, even though he's got 9 home runs already. But if it's between him or a Ronda, I'm taking a Ronda, and you can't just give him the DH spot. And Ben Rice, if you were just to compare Ben Rice versus Soderstrom so far, I think you'd probably just still take Ben Rice. So unfortunately, Tyler Soderstrom obviously deserves to be in this conversation, but he didn't make my All-Star team for the first time.
Craziness. All right, pitchers. Who do you got?
So starting pitcher number one, I think it has to be Hunter Brown. He's just been
Hmm.
the most dominant pitcher, arguably in baseball. So, and this has been a theme now, right? He had a horrific start at the beginning of last year, where I think he gave up like 10 earned. You could fact check me on that one. I'm not sure exactly what start it's been. But since that point, I think Peyton, Big League Analysis, everybody should go follow him on TikTok. And he's the main editor of this YouTube channel. So definitely go follow him. He made a video on it. And since then, Hunter Brown's got like a 2.3 ERA.
Yep.
And this season, we were talking about, some of the best pitches in baseball on that one surprising player from every team episode. Max Meyer's slider was the best in baseball, tied with Hunter Brown's four-seam fastball. That's his most used offering. Like when your most used offering is your four seam and it's one of the best pitches in baseball, you're going to have a lot of success. It's very simple analysis, but it's just facts.
Yep.
I think he's going to continue this. I think he could win the Cy Young, right? He's third or fourth in the odds right now, even though I know there's Garrett Crochet, I know there's Scooble, but he's been almost as good as them, and this is prolonged success now. Hunter Brown, I think, is going to lead my rotation, even though my number two guy, Tyler Mahle, leads Major League Baseball in ERA. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go with him at a 0.68. He deserves to be in this conversation. And while he's been the most productive, I think Hunter Brown's been the best. And then I have two more as well.
Never wrong, just early.
Never wrong,
Never
just
wrong,
early.
just early. I feel great about Hunter Brown last year.
Talk about never wrong, just early. Chris Bubich. I mean, I've been talking about the boob tray now for 3 years.
Yeah,
He just
bad
keeps getting
nickname.
hurt.
Yeah, really bad nickname. Tough one.
The boob man? You don't like that?
Yeah.
You're not
You
a
called it the
huge
train.
you're not a huge fan of that?
You called him the boob train.
The boob train or the boob man.
Yeah, Bubich. Bubic.
Yeah.
Bubich.
So I'll go with Chris Bubich. He's got an ERA like 1.3. The lefty has just been awesome for the Royals. And then at number 4, I know he's only consistently going 5 innings, maybe 5 2/3 occasionally. But Drew Rasmussen has been otherworldly dominant. He's got like a 0.87 ERA.
Yeah.
So those 4 pitchers would probably be are the 4 that I would choose. But again, I'm open to having more conversations about other guys because there are plenty of them.
Okay, so I really like those 4. 2 others that I identified that should get a shout. Brian Wu in Seattle.
Definitely.
Wu needs to be shouted out here as a possible all-star. And Jack Flaherty hasn't made an all-star team before, man. Like
Yeah.
Flaherty's pitching like an all-star right now, and it's about darn time that he makes an all-star team.
Punched out a ton of Padres. That's a good lineup that he carved through. And then Reese Olson, again, carved through the Padres as well. So Tigers pitching is on lock right now. And I agree, Jack Flaherty should be in the conversation. But would you agree, like, those are your 4 that I named?
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
No doubt. Those are my 4. Like with what Mahle and Rasmussen are doing right now, I was kind of buying the Rasmussen juice this offseason. That whole Rays rotation, I was just so excited for. And obviously, you had McClanahan get hurt on opening day, but that was McClanahan, Boz, who's looked good, Bradley, and then you had Rasmussen and I
Pepio?
mean Pepio, yep, as well. And I was buying the Pepio train as well. But like I think those are the right shouts. Hunter Brown has been pitching like one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in the American League to this point, outside of Garrett Crochet. Reliever, I thought there was like a kind of easy answer.
You could go with Luke Jackson of the Rangers. He's got 7 saves. I know it. I know the way you're grimacing is because when you watch Luke Jackson, it's not like, wow, what a
It's not
closer.
as
I
it's
know.
not as stress free as the guy that I'm going to bring up.
I agree with you. And there are plenty of middle relievers, but I think if we're choosing one reliever, I just went with the best closer who has yet to make an All-Star game. And, Chris Martin and Robert Garcia are good relievers, but Luke Jackson has taken a hold of that closer role for the Rangers. And again, 7 saves is 7 saves with an ERA at 3. So, but I know the strikeouts aren't there, and who knows if it lasts. But for right now, I think I went with Luke Jackson. Who'd you go with?
So based on what this guy did last year, parlayed into this year in his first 13 appearances, Cade Smith, especially with how
Yeah.
Emmanuel Clase is struggling right now. Cade Smith has gotten a couple of save opportunities, and he is 2 for 2 in his save opportunities.
Yeah.
So I side with Cade Smith just because, he's picking up the slack for the best reliever in Major League Baseball in Class A. And I will always give that guy the benefit of the doubt, especially when he's coming off of a top 10 Cy Young voting last year.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I just, if I had to pick one reliever, again, I went for the closer. But to your point, Cade Smith does have 2 saves, 2 for 2. When Emmanuel Clase, Stephen Vogt just gave him back-to-back off days. They haven't officially moved Clase out of the closer role.
Yeah.
They just wanted to give him a rest. So I think those might be the only two saves that he picks up unless he starts to fill in a little bit more, which we will see. But Gaddis has also been phenomenal too. Tim Herron's been great. It's just Class A has taken a little bit of a step back, but I still think Class A is obviously, a top five reliever in the game, arguably still the best in the game. I'm not going to just throw him off the mantle because of one bad month. I think we can give him a little bit of some breathing room here because he's proved it year in and year out. Had one of the greatest reliever seasons ever. So I think Class A is going to be a good closer for the rest of the first half, keeping Cade Smith probably in that setup role. And then if I were to choose between them, I would choose the closer.
Yeah. Not bad for what you thought the worst bullpen in Major League Baseball history, the 2025 Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah, you wanted to kick me off the show entirely for saying that I think they could be the best bullpen in baseball, just not the best of all time like they were last year again. And look
It
at what's
was
happening.
it was sad. It was just pretty darn sad. San Diego's got a 1.4 bullpen ERA, by the way. So you may have been onto something there.
Yeah.
All right, the National League. And again, we are going with first time All Stars, guys that have put themselves in position through the first month of the Major League Baseball season to make their first All Star team. And I'll guide you through this one. I put together my team. Peter will fill in the cracks if there are any. Catcher was pretty darn thin in this spot, I will say.
Hmm.
But, and I know this guy is not very good defensively. Keibert Ruiz is on an undeniably hot start right now. He is off
Yeah.
to a good start objectively, swinging the bat. Keibert Ruiz was the way that I went here at the catching position.
Yeah, I think you Cubs fans would be like Carson Kelly hasn't made an All-Star game, hit for the cycle. He's been one of the best hitters in
14
baseball.
games.
Exactly. And there's also Miguel Amaya. So, like,
Yeah.
do I think that this guy who's put up an awesome first 14 games is going to make his first All Star game over a young catcher who has always had plenty of potential at the plate, finally putting it all together and seeing him rise? I'm going to go with the Nats catcher Ruiz in this spot, right? Because, we kind of compare Edgar Caro, a prospect that we're all really excited with the Chicago White Sox, to Ruiz. Why? The plate discipline, the bat to ball, not striking out, walking at a decent clip. And Ruiz is doing that. He's hitting 325 right now. And I agree with you. The defense isn't great, but when you're reduced to the choices, I'm going to go with Ruiz over Carson Kelly, who again is backup ish. I know they're more of a tandem there, but I don't think that he's going to be able to accumulate enough games or just quite honestly continue to hit at this rate to overtake a young and exciting catcher like Ruiz.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And the difference between Caro and Ruiz, as weird as it sounds, is Caro is a much better defender than
Yeah.
Keibert Ruiz. But if Keibert Ruiz is swinging it like this, then lo and behold, you have an opportunity to make an All Star team. I don't think he's going to make an All Star team because there are a bunch of guys that have been All Stars before that are playing well. But Keibert Ruiz is the guy. This one is going to put Cubs fans at a pretzel. First base in the National League. I think Michael Busch is absolutely the leader in the clubhouse here to
Hmm.
make his first All Star team.
Yeah.
But the other guy that I want to shout out has 7 homers so far and is OPSing over 900. Matt Mervis, who they traded away for Vidal Brujan this offseason, is also putting himself in position to possibly be a representative. He could hit 15, 20 homers before the All Star break and play good defense at first base. Do I think Bush is the answer right now based on what he's done in terms of all around game? Yeah, but Mervis is swinging a hot bat, man.
Love that shout. And I don't want to hear one comment in the YouTube being like, Jack, Marlins bias. He is speaking facts right now. This guy's rocketing baseballs.
And they're like shin high
Yeah.
changeups that he's going down to golf. He had a one-handed swing on a flyout that was like 107 off the bat yesterday.
Yeah, no, I love the shout. Again, I would go with Michael Bush, just the more proven commodity and is off to a better start. And I also think that Michael Bush, elevates his game due to his defensive abilities as well. Like he's always been a really solid defender over there at first base, which is going to help his WAR totals. And when he's hitting like that, he has to be the answer. I love the Mervis shout. Absolutely. I think that Mervis is a terrifying bat to go up against right now. Like he can take you out at any
Yeah.
direction on any pitch right now. He's dangerous.
Like Michael Bush is funny because I don't think any Dodger fan is kicking themselves for holding on or for not holding on to Michael Busch, for trading him away, right? Because there was no space for him. Like, what you gonna do?
Freddie
You gonna
Freeman.
unseat Freddie? Like,
Yeah.
you gonna force Busch to play second base? It's like, okay, there was no space. I'm glad to see Michael Busch succeeding in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I think Cubs fans are probably in the same spot. Oh, are you going to take Michael Busch out of the lineup to get Mervis more ABs? Maybe not. Like, I have no idea, but Cubs fans have to be happy with the way Mervis is producing. Like, oh, sad to see you go, but excited to see you thrive elsewhere. Michael Busch is associated with the back end of that and the front end of that, which is pretty funny.
Wasn't Michael Bush traded for Zaire Hope and Jackson Ferris too?
Yes, absolutely. So I think that should
Yes.
make Dodger fans feel okay. But at the end of the day, Michael Busch could be an all-star first baseman in Major
True.
League Baseball this year.
Yeah, because the Dodger fans are like, great, we have prospects, but this guy's also an all-star. Like, we
Yes,
hope Zaire Hope becomes an all-star, right? Michael Bush
exactly.
likely will become an all-star at some point. So I see what you're
Exactly.
saying there. And then the Marlins have to be happy too because they're like, all right, we'll take Mervis
For
and we'll
Vidal
watch him hit home
Brujan,
runs over
that's the
here.
trade of the
Yeah,
offseason right now. Mervis for Vidal
absolutely.
Brujan.
Yes, it is.
Second base, by this criteria, guys that are trying to make their first All Star team, second base in the National League is the most loaded position that you could possibly find.
Yeah, I wonder who you went with.
I'm going to throw you four names,
Okay.
and I want to hear who you went with before I tell you who I went with.
Okay.
The four names I'm going to throw you are Tommy Edman of the Dodgers,
hmm
Bryce Turang of the Brewers,
hmm
Brendan Donovan of the Cardinals, and Bryson Stott of the Phillies.
I went
Where'd you
with
go?
I went with Brendan Donovan.
I went with Donovan too, just because he's always been a baseball crush of mine.
Yeah.
I think Edmund should be on the All Star team in some form or fashion. I think he just makes it as a bench utility piece. Obviously, he's played some center field. I think that he could make it as an All Star or as an outfielder. If they move off of the Pages thing and they want Edmund to play center field every day, but there's no clear cut answer as to what they want to do on the infield right now in LA. But I went with Donovan. I would have felt really bad not mentioning Terang,
hmm
and I would have felt bad not mentioning Stott. I think Stott is four here, but Terang is hitting to go along with platinum glove level defense.
Yeah.
And that's a scary sight. And this guy can become one of the better top of the order threats in the National League for Milwaukee. But Donovan is just killing right now.
He's got a 190 WRC plus while playing great defense. I mean, he's got 3 home runs and 3 steals. He's striking at 8% of the time. I know Tommy Edmonds got those 6 home runs or 7 home runs, whatever he's at right now. It's been awesome from the power department, but I just think Brendan Donovan has done more offensively, even though, again, Tommy Edmond has been great. And they're both playing good defense. With Bryce Turang, too, he's third in hits right now. He's got 8 steals. He's been awesome. But I'm going with the best hitter of the bunch so far, and that is Brendan Donovan.
It thins out big time after second
Yes.
base.
Oh, yeah.
Third base. Again, like every third baseman that is supposed to be good has been good this year. And
Yeah.
the best third basemen in the National League to this point have been Manny Machado, Nolan Arenado, Austin Riley, all guys that are established all-star talents. So I had to scroll a little bit, and I found a guy that started the year in AAA. And I
Mm,
just watched for 3 games and was really impressed by him. He hit a homer at 116 miles an hour the other day.
mm.
I grabbed Noelvi Marte of the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, I understand why you went with that because when you're looking at the leaderboards, he's the one guy that shoots out, right?
He's the one guy, but also watching him, like, dude,
Yeah.
I saw him hit liners at 107 and then a homer at 116. And I was a guy that was kind of discouraged by his performance in AAA when I saw him in 2023, I think. And I don't know, it just looked like a different Noelvi Marte this year.
No, I see what you're saying. I couldn't fathom a guy who is coming off a PED suspension and 5 of his 9 hits are in that one crazy game where the Reds won 24-2.
Sure, sure.
Just such a small sample. But here's the thing. My answer is not much better because this guy's been horrible. Like he's been objectively bad. But he does have the ability to get red hot and become the obvious answer, which is Mark Vientos of the New York Mets.
Sure.
Now, I know he hasn't looked good defensively. And I know overall he's got a 580 OPS. He's been a massive disappointment so far. But in his last 5 games, he does have 2 home runs. And in those games where he didn't hit home runs, he went 1 for 3 and 1 for 5, runs scored, couple RBIs. So the bat has been looking a little bit better lately. So if this guy can get hot, he immediately becomes the obvious answer. And another guy who hasn't made an All-Star game and also is off to a bad start, but is a relatively well-known name, is Alec Boehm. I don't think Alec Boehm is going to get crazy hot enough to get there.
No.
So with Noelvi Marte, I was like, all right, 5 of your 9 hits came from one game, right? You have 2 home runs. One of them came in that game, and it was off a position player.
Yeah.
It's just not enough of a sample. And also knowing that he's been kind of dreadful and up until this little 8 game stretch. And he's also coming off a PED suspension. So I just couldn't go that direction. But again, my direction's not that much better. I'm more just hoping this guy gets hot.
No, I mean you're buying the dip on guys, and
Yes.
I'm just saying like, oh, this is a boom. I'll go with this, I think, and I
Yeah.
think I like what I saw, but there's no good answer at third
Yeah.
base.
No good answer at all.
At shortstop, kind of slim pickings right now as well. There could be some bias with this one because he's been cold over the last 2 weeks or so, but I think Xavier Edwards is the best answer.
I have the same answer. Ain't biased at all. That's the answer. I mean, he's too dynamic, right? He's a guy who can hit for a high average, steal a ton of bases, right? The defense is fine, right? That's not his calling card, but he's a guy who, could string together a month where he's hitting a bunch of triples and he's hitting plenty of
Yeah.
singles and he's stealing a bunch of bases. And it's not quite Jacob Wilson-esque, but it can kind of remind you of that when he's just kind of swinging at everything and hitting everything and
Yeah.
showcasing that speed. So I'm willing to buy the dip a little bit, but it's not like that big of a dip.
It's not that big of a dip, and he was as hot as a match for a minute there. Like it was multi-hit day, multi-hit day, multi-hit day.
That's what I'm talking about. He can
He
easily
was
have a month of that, and then we're
Yeah.
talking about him in this
And
conversation.
I mentioned like hasn't been awesome over the last week or so. Like it was 5 games and he was I think 3 for 23 or
Yeah.
something like that, maybe 4 for 30. Okay, but you have a 2 for 3 day, and like even on the heels of that 3 for 23 stretch, he was still hitting 280 this
Yeah.
year. If he hits 280, he gets on base at a 340 clip. He's kind of shut down the stolen base thing a little bit as of late. But if he starts to get on the move a little bit more, I think this guy could absolutely be hitting 300 with 20 bags by the All
To your,
Star break.
but to your point, it makes sense that he would slow down the bags. He's 3 for 23. He's not getting on base that much, right?
Yeah, but also when he's on base, it doesn't feel like he's kind of off to the races a lot. But I don't know. I mean, he'll be fine. Like I love watching Xavier Edwards play.
And to be fair, like, do you want to run with how the Marlins are hitting right now? Like the first couple of guys in the lineup, they're driving him in. Like you don't really want to make it
Yeah,
out
why
right
get out
now.
on the base paths when you
That's what
got
I'm saying.
Mervis hitting tanks?
That's what I'm saying. Like the Marlins are playing great baseball, and the offense has been
Yes.
fun to watch. So, like, I don't. It might. Who knows why? Who knows why he's doing it? But again, I don't think that's necessarily going to last. I think he'll start using his legs a lot more.
I think so. Yeah, I'm bought into it, and I think X can absolutely get this thing rolling, and he could be. I think he's one of the most underrated leadoff guys in Major League Baseball. I think he could take that crown for the most underrated leadoff hitter in Major League Baseball in a month. We
I
could
like
chat
that.
on May 24th, and it could be the same deal.
I like that.
Outfield, 3 outfielders. This is a really good crop, and I thought there were 3 slam dunk answers here, and I'm curious if you have any pushback whatsoever.
I thought there was 2 slam dunks and then one like maybe. So I'm interested to see who your 3 are because we should share the same 2 answers. I wonder if we differ on the third.
So my 3 slam dunks: Pete Crow Armstrong of the Cubs,
Easy.
easy, playing like one of the best players in Major League Baseball.
He is.
Right now.
He's the most fun player to watch right now in the game. I
He's
already said like I.
amazing.
I think I've watched every single Cubs game this season. They are. They are. They're the most fun baseball. They don't play defense, even though they still have PCA. They have Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner up the middle. That is like the greatest defensive tandem ever. But then you got guys on the corners making errors, most notably third base. In the corners a little bit. So they haven't been playing great defense. The starting pitching has been solid-ish, and the bullpen's been dreadful. So these games, I mean, again against the Dodgers last night, 7-6. These 10-11 type games, they are by far the most fun team to watch, and the most dynamic, fun player on the field for the Cubs is Pete Crow Armstrong. So that's
Yeah.
why he's the best watch right now in baseball.
And Tucker's playing like Tucker too. I think
Oh
it's
yeah,
that tandem of Kyle Tucker and PCA that is making them must see TV.
yes,
So PCA slam dunk. One of my other favorite players to watch in Major League Baseball right now is my other slam dunk, James Wood of the Washington Nationals.
Oh, see, I didn't even have him.
Wow.
And maybe I'm blind. Maybe I'm completely blind. I thought you were going to say that, well, maybe you still will. Jung Hoo Lee is your third?
Jung Hoo Lee's my third. I thought
I knew
those
it.
three were the
Okay.
slam dunks.
So, all right. And maybe I am just because both of them, it's hard not to fall in love with both players. O'Neal Cruz, I know the defense, he has been sleepwalking, but my God, some of these home runs. But then again, you could make the same argument for James Wood. Oh my God, some of these home runs. But the stolen bases are up. He's hitting really well. Like, I don't think
O'Neal
anyone could
Cruz.
be. Yeah, O'Neal Cruz. He's destroying baseballs. He's putting together an incredible offensive season, both at the plate and on the base pass. Yes, the defense has not been good, but it's not like James Wood's defense is any good either. But I could hear a pitch for James Wood over O'Neal Cruz. I just, what's so funny? I was like, I need O'Neal Cruz in the home run derby, and that's I think what, even though this is an All Star game exercise, I was like, I need him in the home run derby.
I understand. I
Yeah,
totally understand. James Wood, like the opposite field thing is fun, but I just want to walk you through his homers so far this year because he's
they're
among the
sick.
league leaders in homers. James Wood has homers against Bowden Francis at 107 off the bat, against Anthony Bonda at 103 off the bat, against Justin Robleski at 111, against Justin Robleski at 107, against Luarbert Arias at 111, against Mitch Keller at 113, against Chase Dolander at 110. And the one he hit against Tomoyuki Shigano on Wednesday was 116 off the bat and
Bert,
431 feet to right center field. One of
wasn't
the
that the
few times he pulls it is 116 off Shigano.
I had Sagano over 2.5 earned runs in that game, and it hit in the first inning, and then he went six shutty after that, just to like give me the middle finger. I think. Um, I think you're right with James Wood. Honestly, I think I'm going to bow out of this debate. I'm not even going to try and debate you because you're right. James Wood has better numbers. I just like O'Neal Cruz. We could go through his home runs, and it's going to be a very similar
Sure,
thing.
yeah, no, it's also amazing, but like Wood,
11
there's just something
steals.
about watching him get to pitches he shouldn't be getting to and hitting him
I know.
115. I'm like, you're kidding me.
All we're doing right now is gushing over superhuman type players,
Yes.
and it's just
James Wood and O'Neal Cruz are the closest thing to each other. Like, don't
yeah.
say Ellie and O'Neal Cruz. I think we've
No,
found Ellie's in a class of his own, and I think O'Neal Cruz and James Wood are very, very similar to each other.
I like that take, and I almost think like James Wood is a combo of them in a weird way. Like, uh, they're all just freaks in nature.
They're all freaks.
Um, I think James Wood is the answer. I just can't get over how O'Neal Cruz like has 11 steals, and like, what if he goes like 30, 50 this year?
Yeah, he could.
Like horrible defense, and like
Who
I'm
cares?
still like, are you
30,
even?
50. I mean, and the thing is, like, Cruz has shored up some of the issues that were glaring when he first got into Major League Baseball. Like, that guy could not hit a breaking ball when he
Yeah,
first got up in 2022. And now he's fine against that. Like,
yeah.
he's turning into a very, very good hitter before our very eyes.
I think you're right though. Let's go with James Wood in that spot.
Okay. DH,
Easy,
Pavin Smith.
easy.
Pavin Smith of the Arizona Diamondbacks has been phenomenal, leading the National League in OPS, is he not?
He is. He has been another reason why we were talking about just Mike Hayes in master classes.
Yeah.
I know it's early,
But
but
like it wasn't an acquisition, it was just sticking with him.
well, it's also kind of an acquisition in the sense of they let go of Jock Peterson in order to kind of play Pavin Smith in the spot, saying we don't really need him. And then Jock Peterson starts the year going over 42. But
Yeah.
shout out Jock Peterson for that double last night. I saw it.
Was
Should have
good.
been called out at second, but
Yeah.
whatever. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You
That would
saw
be
that?
so jock if he snapped that stretch and just got thrown out trying to
Yeah,
stretch it into a double.
he was out. I think the umpire was just like, you know what, just give it to him. And
Yes.
I think even, I forget who caught it at second base. It might have been Wilson or whatever. I think he was like, yeah, it's fine. Give Jock the, he
He
needs
needs
it.
this.
He needs this. Um, what I was saying was Mike Hazen talking about Geraldo Perdomo sticking by him. That's been
Yeah.
huge. And I'd want to put Perdomo as the National League shortstop, but he's made an All-Star game.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm with you there. It's
Cool.
just got to be Pavin Smith. I mean, he's been arguably Best hitter in the National League. That's how good he is offensively to start the year.
Staying in the desert, I'll give you my reliever before I give you the starting pitchers.
Easy.
Justin Martinez has been the best reliever in Major League Baseball this year. I don't know if it's close. Like Mason
Mason
Miller
Miller.
is obviously
Yeah.
awesome,
Yeah.
but in terms of turning on the TV, Miller, like we've been watching it for the last year and a
No,
half.
here's what we're doing again. We're debating between James Wood and O'Neal Cruz again. Like, no,
Exactly.
Miller is also the best to watch, as is Justin Martinez.
I mean, Miller, it's so fun, but I'm almost like calloused from it because I've been watching it for a little bit.
Mm.
Martinez, I'm like, show me that splitter again.
It's the nice new thing. Even though Miller is somewhat new too, but yeah, I
But
agree with you.
it
Like,
is Justin Martinez is the shiny new toy, and I am in the honeymoon phase with Justin Martinez right now.
I'm down to hang out in this phase because he is awesome. And especially with Puck going down, obviously very unfortunate for the Diamondbacks bullpen, but for this exercise, then it inevitably gives Justin Martinez more save opportunities there. So he's going to rack it up, and he's just downright disgusting, must watch baseball. So yeah, Justin Martinez. I'm glad you just skipped to it because for me, that was easy as well.
That was easy. I also got to find out who's the high guy on Justin Martinez in our pregame or in our preseason rankings.
Hmm.
Where did he end up? Justin Martinez was at 12. I wanted to confirm that I was the high guy at 10.
Were
You
you?
were the low guy at 15 on Justin Martinez.
I guess I'm out on him.
Look at you, you hater.
I hate him
Unbelievable.
at
Okay,
50.
starters. I think this group is absolutely freaking loaded in the
Yeah,
National League.
go with a lot of different guys.
You can go with a lot of different guys. I'll give you my four.
Okay.
You tell me who you would be swapping in.
Okay.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto is the easiest answer in the history of ever. Sub 1 ERA.
Easy.
Easy. Number two for me, Jesus Luzardo with the Philadelphia Phillies.
I have Jesus Luzardo. He wasn't at 2 though. But
Okay,
yes, he is one of my 4.
he's there. Number three for me is Max Meyer of the Marlins.
Oh, see, Max Meyer was 5th for me, and I knew we were going to talk, and I was like, damn it. I want Meyer on here. That slider, right? I just talked about Hunter Brown's fastball. Max Meyer's slider is just as good as the
Yep.
best pitch in baseball. So love that answer. I got nothing. I would just debate you with my other 2, and we'll see.
There are two guys in Major League history to strike out 14 and walk none in 6 innings. Max Meyer and
And
Randy Johnson.
oh, I thought it was Bob Gibson. No, it was Randy Johnson. You're
Randy
right.
Johnson.
Pretty good list.
A really good list.
Yeah,
End
pretty good
of list.
list.
And then number four for me was Mackenzie Gore in Washington.
Interesting. So I am 2 off of yours,
Okay.
but I love the shouts because Mackenzie Gore and Max Meyer were 5 and 6. So like
Okay.
right there, and I wanted both of them. Tyler McGill has a 1.09 ERA. It's through
Sure.
24 innings. So when you go to Fangraphs, he's not quite qualified. I don't think you skipped him because of the Fangraphs leaderboards. I'm just saying when you go on, for anybody
Yeah.
listening, you go on, he won't be up there, but he's going to
No, I
make his
skipped him
next
because
start
Meyer
soon.
and Gore are disgusting.
Exactly. I know why you skipped him.
Yes.
Like I know why you skipped him. The strikeout rate. I mean, striking out near 11 guys per 9. Max Meyer, Mackenzie Gore is the same thing, but how can I deny a guy with a 1.09 ERA? I can't. And he looks the part too. It's not a random 1.09 where I'm like for example, shout out Mitchell Parker, 1.32 ERA. But again, I had Gore ahead of him. I had Meyer ahead of him as well. Mitchell Parker deserves it, but I'm not as confident that lasts. I'm pretty confident this lasts with McGill. Now, 1.09 ERA? No. Is he going to have a mid twos by the All Star break? I think so. With 11 strikeouts per 9, the walks are a little bit iffy there. It's about 4 per 9. I get that, but he's been so dominant. I think he's just going to continue this, and he would be my answer. And then again, so that's how I would kick out Meyer because he'd be right there. And here's how I kick out Gore. Nick Pivetta is a fucking demon.
He is a demon.
He's a demon. I mean, his fastball's at the top with that just banger of a breaking ball. He's been so good for the Padres. Strikeout rate through the roof. He's not walking anybody. His peripherals look awesome. What am I going to say? He's pitching in a pitcher's ballpark. He's found his groove. Like 1.2 ERA had to be Pavetta for me, but I love the shouts of Meyer and Gore. Like it's so funny. I wrote Meyer and Gore to start, and then I was like, I have to put in Pavetta and McGill over
Yeah.
him. So I understand where you're coming from there.
My guys are way flashier.
Yeah, they are.
You just pick big man, throw hard.
Yeah, I like big man throw hard. It
I
works.
know you like big man, throw hard.
Yeah.
I like electric stuff out of a frame
Yeah.
that you would not expect.
Meyer's slider is so good.
It's amazing.
It's so good.
And how about
Gore,
the changeup flash too? That changeup was
Yeah.
disgusting.
And then everything from Gore is good.
I told
Yeah.
you, like, you guys gave me so much crap for having him on my Mount Stuffmore. I think
Yeah.
this guy, like, it's gross. Everything out of his hand.
So are you conceding the fact that Pavetta and McGill have been better, but you're like, I like the upside of Meyer and Gore a little bit more, so I think
I
they will get themselves to
Yeah.
this All-Star game as we see more games.
So I'm conceding that those two have been better than Gore. I'm not conceding that those two have been better than Meyer.
Fair.
And I understand the ERA would say otherwise, but I think Max Meyer, outside of Luzardo and Yamamoto, has been one of the best pitchers in the National League.
Yeah. I just can't get over McGill with his 109 and
I
Pavetta
understand. I
120. It's
totally
too
understand.
much.
But I also watched McGill walk
Yeah. The
four
walks.
or five in a start in Queens, and Meyer hasn't done that. So
But you know who has? Gore. I mean, he
Gore has,
can walk
Gore
a
has,
couple
but
guys.
like
Yeah.
Gore's gross.
Yeah.
So, okay, we are going to get to the weekend preview in a moment, but before that, let us tell you about our friends at Game Time. Obviously, if you want to get out to one of these marquee ball games in the weekend, use Game Time because they are the premier ticket marketplace in the game, and they are the official ticket marketplace of Just Baseball. You can save last minute, save up to 60% for tickets on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, list goes on. It is the best. You got the all in pricing, the toggle feature available there. I like the views from your seat that you can have as well. You can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code JUSTBASEBALL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code JUSTBASEBALL, JUSTBASEBALL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
The lowest price guarantee, I mean, our game time is going to credit you 110% of the difference. That's how confident they are in their prices. You can get into Yankee Stadium on Friday night. That's the game that I want to go to. This episode is, coming out on Friday. So the game tonight, they're doing a hockey jersey giveaway. So I want to go to
Sure.
that game. So the tickets are going to be a little bit more expensive because there's a hockey jersey giveaway
Sure.
involved, but you can get in as low as 54 bucks. But I'm looking at some nice seats. Like you can sit in the right field bleachers, section 105, right in the short porch with all the people doing the roll call for 100 bucks. You can sit in row 2 of the Champions Suite area for about $242. Now, again, those sound crazy, like those sound expensive, but
But
I
it's the
worked at
Yankees on a Friday night.
and I worked in ticket sales for the Yankees for 2 years. Like you don't really see those prices, especially on giveaway days, and especially when that giveaway is a hockey jersey. So
Yeah.
again, that's why I love Game Time. It's the lowest prices guaranteed, and if it's not, 110% of the difference. They're not just giving you your money back; they're actually giving you a little bit on top of it because of that guarantee. Remember
Yeah.
to use code JUSTBASEBALL, all caps, just baseball on Game Time, $20 off your first purchase.
Time for the weekend preview. Let's chat through these games, and we will start with the ball games today. Interesting one. Friday at 1:20 at Wrigley, 2:20 p.m. Eastern. Taiwan Walker and the Phillies against Colin Ray and the Cubs. It is not a sexy pitching matchup, but Phillies Cubs at Wrigley is going to be a very fun watch.
I'm going to go with the Cubs. This team
Okay.
is unstoppable. And the Phillies just got swept by the Mets. They're just not playing good baseball. Now, the Mets are playing awesome baseball, so you could say, well, it's not really fair to say that the Phillies aren't playing great baseball. But after a series like that, with Taiwan Walker on the mound, who I expect to start slowing down, it's not like I'm in love with Colin Ray, but you put Taiwan Walker up against that Cubs offense, good luck. Give me the Cubs.
Mets Nationals in Washington today, this afternoon. Kodai Senga with a 0.79 ERA against Jake Irvin.
I think Jake Irvin, has put together a couple of good starts in a row, but Kodai Senga has a 0.79 ERA, and I loved what you guys were talking about. I think it was Tuesday's episode about Senga.
Yeah.
Different kind of taste breakers putting that in, and his development. He looks unbelievably fantastic. I mean, a
Yes, he
bona
does.
fide ace. And the Mets are the best team in baseball right now. You can't go against the Mets.
7:10 p.m. in Cleveland. Red Sox Guardians. Tanner Houck has been really bad against
Yeah.
Ben Lively,
Probably a high scoring game. I mean, Tanner Houck's just been dreadful.
which is
Dreadful.
crazy. Like I
I
thought he
know.
was going to be great this year.
I know. He's just hanging shit right in the middle of the zone. And I don't know. He just looks different. I'll go with the Guardians. Not
Okay.
not ex- I actually I might even play that over. I think that's going to be like I think Ben Lively's going to run into trouble there, and Tanner Houck, like, I can't back him to do well right now. I dropped him on my fantasy team.
Wow.
Like, it doesn't look good.
Hmm.
Um, I haven't even really dove into the numbers yet. That's just based on what I've seen. It's just he looks like a completely different guy. So I'll take the Guardians.
7:40 in Kansas City. Astros Royals. Seth Lugo against Hayden Wesneski.
I'm gonna go with the Astros there. I think the Royals are very disappointing.
They're
Their
struggling.
offense is garbage. It's bad.
Okay.
And I like Lugo, but Hayden Wesneski, that sweeper's working. I think the Royals have a tough time with him. Give me the Stros.
All right. Uh, 9:40 tonight. Braves Diamondbacks in Arizona. Chris Sale against Zach Gallen
Oh, in Arizona,
in Arizona.
D-backs. Gallon at home.
We have an unbelievable West Coast stretch of pitching matchups
Yes, we
tonight.
do.
Uh, Rays Padres in San Diego at 9:40 Eastern. Michael King against Shane Baz.
Mm. Oh, I'll go with the Padres, but that's must watch. I mean that is. I mean, actually, well, there's going to be another game on at the same time. I got to watch
Yeah,
both of them at the same time.
yeah. Rangers Giants at 10:15. Eovaldi against Verlander in San Francisco.
I'm gonna go with the Giants. They
Okay,
can't be stopped right now. I'm gonna go with the Giants.
they're really good and pitching matchup of the year to this point. 10:10 p.m. tonight in LA. Pirates Dodgers. Paul Skeens against Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Appointment television. Appointment television. Dodgers, though. I mean, Yamamoto is a smidge worse than Skeens, maybe. I mean, even right now, you could argue Yamamoto's been better, and of course, the Dodgers are just way better than the Pirates. The Pirates can't win games. Give me the Dodgers.
Yep.
Respectfully, Pittsburgh. I mean, we all see what we all watch the same games. We know what we're seeing. Dodgers.
Matchup of the year
Yep.
tonight. I don't think close.
Yeah.
Okay. Saturday. Let's go New York. All right. 1:05 p.m. on Saturday. Max Fried against Kevin Gausman and Blue Jays Yankees.
Hmm. I think Fried stays hot. I'll take the Yankees, but I think that's going to be a really good game, really close game as well. But the Yankees have had some success off Gosman, not a ton, but some.
Got you.
I'll take the Yankees. Not very
Okay.
confident in it though.
4:05 on Saturday. Jesus Luzardo and the Phillies against Ben Brown and the Cubs at Wrigley.
That's the game I think the Phillies win.
Yeah.
I think Luzardo gets them that win. But
Okay.
again, like, I ain't taking the Phillies in terms of if I'm making a bet. I can't fade the Cubs at all.
Yep. How about Rangers Giants at 4:05? Tyler Mahle on the road against Robbie Ray. Tyler Mahle in San Francisco.
Yeah, I think he pitches well. I think the Giants kind of beat the crap out of the Rangers. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
take the Giants again.
Okay. Astros Royals in Kansas City. Framber Valdez and Michael Wacha.
Yeah, I'll take the Astros again. I think the Royals are going to have some troubles here. Give me the Stros.
Okay. Rays Padres again. Like this is going to be an awesome series, man.
Yeah.
Ryan Pepio against Dylan Cease at
Ooh.
8:40 on Saturday
In San Diego,
in San Diego.
I'm going to go with the Rays there. Cease is still just. He's been good, not great. It's not like Pepio's been great either, but I'm just staring at this Rays offense, how good they are against right-handed pitching. I think the Rays steal one there.
Okay. Last game on Saturday that we got to talk about is at 9:10 Eastern. Roki Sasaki against Mitch Keller in LA. Pirates Dodgers.
I mean, I'm just going to pick the Dodgers against the Pirates pretty much every time. You don't even have
Okay.
to read me off the names, but
All right.
yeah, I still think Mitch Keller gets destroyed.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about a little 135 on Sunday? Tyler McGill against Mitchell Parker in Mets Nats. Those guys have both been awesome. McGill at that 109 ERA, Mitchell Parker at a 139 ERA.
I'll take McGill in that one. Nats are going to be scrappy, and I do think Mitchell Parker is a good pitcher. I've been really impressed with how confident he is within the zone, but McGill is a different beast, and the Mets are a different beast. Give me the Mets.
Okay. All right. At 2:10, Hunter Brown and the Astros against Chris Bubich and the Royals.
Hmm. I'll say the Royals avoid the sweep on the Boobage start, even though obviously you're going up against Hunter Brown. But in my head, Astros win 2 of 3. Which game are they going to lose? I'll
Yep.
give the one to the Boob train.
Okay. Two more for you. 4:10 p.m. on Sunday. Braves Diamondbacks in Arizona. Spencer Schwellenbach against Brandon Pfaadt
In Arizona, Braves
in
win that one.
Arizona.
Schwellenbach is too good.
Schwellenbach is very, very good.
But
Pfaadt has been very
Fought's
good.
been awesome. I just it's going to take a lot for me to fade Schwellenbach right now.
Okay. And then in Seattle at 4:10 on Sunday, Max Meyer against Bryce Miller in Marlins Mariners.
Mm. Only reason I'm going Mariners is because it's in Seattle.
Okay.
Like that's the only. I mean, they are.
I think Meyer day game in Seattle could be cinema.
Yeah, I think that game might have 1-0. I think it's going to be a battle of the bullpens until we get there. So, yeah, I will go. Like, it's. I think that's a complete coin flip. I'll go with the home team. That's where
Okay.
I'm at on that one.
Cool beans. That's what we got. That's your weekend preview.
Hopefully, everybody enjoyed it. And if you did, the best way to support the Just Baseball Show for free is to rate and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. And if you're interested in joining the best baseball group chat in the world, check out our Discord. The link is in the episode description. Jack just did a big Q&A there when he was flying, from Miami to Seattle for that series. That was awesome. I've been doing the betting stuff. Arm's been doing prospect stuff. He's got a prospect Q&A going on Monday at 7 p.m. So if you want to join in early, see what the Discord is like over the weekend, and then hang out for that prospect Q&A, and then hopefully hang out for everything else that we got, make sure again to use the link in the episode description. And if you're interested in getting yourself some Just Baseball merch, I'm rocking my hat. Jack's not rocking anything because he hates the company, but at least he's got his Just Baseball mic. You could find a bunch of stuff in our merch store. Again, the link is in the episode description. For Jack
Cool.
McMullen, I'm Peter Apple. Have a great weekend. And with that, thank you, everybody.